Hey everybody, this is Brett from Moonstream Crypto. I've got an urgent warning for everybody, and most people are going to miss this and getting it wrong, so I want to unpack this a little bit. What's happening in the crypto markets? I'm seeing signs that are exactly similar to the market cycle top on the 2021 high. So let's jump over to a quick news article. We'll unpack this a bit before we dive into the charts. So this is an article out today, kind of what's happening. Some analysts are saying that they think still we'll go push higher in a parabolic move. I don't think so. I think we are due for a deeper correction here based on what I'm seeing on the weekly charts, which we'll dive into in a moment, but I want to talk about this here. So a couple different analysts basically suggesting that Bitcoin is still bound to make a parabolic move, which I believe is true, but not now. We've had 5 rejections at this top, this lower highs in the market. While originally thought it might be a bull flag breakout, I'll just touch on this for a second, and we'll look at the total market cap again. We're going to come back to these, but this pattern specifically is very worrisome in the overall scheme of things, and I'll show you why in just a minute. Going back to the news here, basically this person saying they think they'll have a parabolic rise up into 2025. I think that's possible. I think that's probable, and that essentially we got ahead of the cycle. We got the new highs before the halving, and that would have indicated a left translated cycle, but also a lower high. So this is a healthy pullback. It's just not one that most people are expecting. So also talking about some other analysts, Rect Capital is pretty good. He's saying the next move to the upside will take Bitcoin to the parabolic uptrend. Also believe that, and if you have been following me for some time, you've seen my analysis for the path to 100,000, 150,000, even 250,000 Bitcoin. If you haven't seen that, you can look that up on TradingView under my name, Brett Fogel. There are a number of videos there that we go into detail, including the 10 factors that could explode this market, and a number of them have already triggered. So I call it sort of 10 small campfires that, like a good old-fashioned California forest fire, if more of them ignite, the rest of them will ignite. So go check that out on TradingView. So essentially, this person's saying $190,000 target. I think that's reasonable. But the point of this video is I think we go lower here. This weekly close is super important, and seeing some very bearish signals here. And that unless they reverse, we're looking at possibly low 60,000 Bitcoin or even 50,000 Bitcoin retest. So one analyst here saying he thinks Bitcoin will gigascend and go up from as high as 100,000 in 7 to 10 days. I'm not seeing that. I think they're wrong, and I'll publicly put this out there. And so back into the breakout, analysis here. I think Rect Capital has it right that basically if we pull back, which it looks like we will, the reaccumulation range will drift down lower. He's saying September. Our cycle analysis shows July 28th is going to be the bottom, the next turn higher. And so, but it's summertime, volume's low. Bitcoin is essentially a Wall Street product now, and the whole sell in May and go away is certainly valid. The big traders are down in the Hamptons sipping Mai Tais and pina coladas at their pools, and won't come back until September. So we'll see. So also, he noted, as we've also said it in our Retire Rich classes yesterday, that Bitcoin's never broken out this early in the post-halving period. And of course, we had new highs sort of pre-halving. So it's good that we're slowing down, he's saying, and remarking that Bitcoin breakout this early means that the cycle would be accelerated and the bull market would be shorter than usual. So, of course, we don't want that. I have previously hypothesized a double top this cycle, like we saw in the 2013, where we hit a top and then we had a decent correction. It was 50, 60%, and then we had another top in that same year. So it's entirely possible this is happening, especially with the Fed signaling, even though CPI numbers came in better than expected, and interest rates, it was no surprise, no direct rate cut now, but now they're saying probably only one rate cut this year, which we can see from the Fed rate watch tool. There's virtually no probability of that happening before September at this time, and one rate cut in September. So that's certainly going to affect risk on assets, and we're seeing a bit of a sell-off here in Bitcoin, not a surprise. So basically, again, he's saying that, as I believe too, that lengthy consolidation is helping Bitcoin price resynchronize with historical halving cycles so that the market can experience a normal, unusual bull run. I was of the opinion we would see a left translated cycle and we would hit 100,000 by now, but current economic news is really dampening this market enthusiasm, including the ETF data. Why don't we jump over to that to start? This is the IBIT 4-hour chart, also signaling that the prices are heading down, losing this key $38 level. I've been watching this since the IBIT came out, and back here, this green arrow, this nice cup and handle, when we broke that level, I was of the opinion and telling people we're going higher, which we did, and each one of these consolidation levels, once we broke higher, we saw a nice push and run up, but we have been seeing Bitcoin outflows, could not break above this accumulation and consolidation zone, so we are in a downward trending channel, or we're in a downward trending channel here, pushed up for a bit to retest, but also a lower high, as we can see. So we are now in a new downward trending channel on the IBIT, and of course our order block indicator is showing that up here, some overhead resistance. Looking at the DXY, this pushed up. I liked this downward trending channel in DXY. It does like these channels. And when it broke out above here, I said, we've got some trouble here. Came back and retested. This is an early sign of a new upward trending channel forming. So all eyes are on this. I want to see the DXY hold here under 105.50. That's my line in the sand. If we break and close above that on this daily time frame, we're headed toward Bitcoin correction zone and potentially Bitcoin crash zone if we hit up into these higher levels. Conversely, if we do reject and start heading back down into this range, this is the Bitcoin rally zone. I do think that's going to be delayed. We'll probably come up in here, put in a lower high, and then a new downward trending trend line on the DXY. The big thing here is the dollar is not necessarily strengthening. Its other world currencies are weakening. So in comparison, the dollar index is showing signs of strength, which is impacting the Bitcoin and total market cap prices. So here's the signal that is so worrisome. On a weekly time frame, this big bearish engulfing candle, also our proprietary early reversal indicator, getting a red arrow there. I'll just hide the order block detector and remove the Fibonacci here. I drew this just to show some targets here on a retracement from here to here to come back down on this $2.2 trillion range as possible. It technically is a bull flag, but we have to break out of the flagpole or the flag pattern. The measured move on this when we break out is up around 3.8 trillion. I think that's certainly doable once we start to get higher, but since it's rejecting here, putting in a lower high in this downward trending channel and the flag of the bull flag pattern, I think we do push down into these lower areas to around the $2 trillion range on the total market cap. Just to touch on this and reiterate this, the pattern specifically that we're looking at is this bearish ERI, early reversal indicator, and also the bearish engulfing candle on a weekly time frame. So that is the same pattern that we saw at the market cycle top back here. And I've been warning our members, when we see this pattern, I will be saying it's time to get out. I just didn't think it was going to happen this soon. The other confirming indicators, because there are four that we're looking for, and the ERI, that's our proprietary early reversal indicator. It's one of our best. It's an accidental discovery, shows institutional and programmatic buying and selling. And so we can see back here as well when this happened and the TSI went from red to green below 80. That was confirming. And then we also had our other proprietary indicator, the RSI Pro, showing bearish divergence and a red circle. Fast forward here, we have not seen a bearish red circle on the RSI Pro until right now. This could still reverse if we see a rally into Sunday, but as of now, these signals are showing a deeper correction on the total market cap. So I would prepare and likely move into some cash so that you have the ability to buy on the dip. This is not financial advice, just sharing what I'm seeing. And so if we jump over into a chart of Bitcoin, very similar signals. Again, this pattern was so powerful and prescient in the last market cycle top. So we had the bearish engulfing candle, our bearish early reversal indicator. You guys can get your hands on these, by the way, if you go to cryptomastery.org/pro. These are our new pro indicators, things like the rocket. We have order block detectors here, which we can show that there's really no buy pressure until very much lower on this on the weekly time frame. A little bit on the daily. I want to call your attention instead also to these Bollinger Bands. This is our Bollinger Band Pro. Most people use Bollinger Bands the wrong way with the wrong settings. Ours has the right settings that really contains price action much better. And when we see these vertical red lines, it means it's got up above the upper Bollinger Bollinger Band with our custom settings, and invariably we see a pullback here, a pullback and revert to the mean. And similarly, when we hit the lower Bollinger Band, usually it rallies higher, as we saw back here. A key point here is we did see hitting that upper Bollinger Band, which either indicates a pullback or sideways consolidation. We are seeing those Bollinger Bands tighten, which normally I would say is a bullish signal, except for our other indicators. We're mostly red on our multi-time frame radar, indicating sell pressure. And as we looked at on the total market cap, this bearish engulfing candle, bearish arrow, I'll show you what the actual indicator looks like for those of you who are saying that's a cute little arrow, what doesn't really mean anything. It's very powerful, and it was a pattern that we noticed. We almost deprecated a similar oscillator until we noticed this pattern when it gets from it one level below 80 in 3 time periods, and we layered it in a Keltner channel. So don't let the simplicity fool you. This trend strength indicator getting below 80 is our second confirmation, our signal indicator here. These are momentum indicators, each one different, so each one relevant, and confluence is the important thing. Since we have 4 of these lining up, we call this the 4 horsemen. Guys, this is not looking bullish. This is looking very bearish. The only thing that could turn this around is if by Sunday 8 p.m. the weekly candle, if it can revert and pull up higher than, let me just give you a number. Having some trouble with these trading view indicators. It's a bit temperamental sometimes. I think they may have changed recently. But here, unless we get and this bearish engulfing candle goes away, so we need to get above 68K, and then likely this ERI would go away. It flickered here 2 days ago. It went red, and then it went green on this push, so we thought we were out of the woods, but this is showing weakness, not being able to get above this 72K range, and it's actually putting in lower highs if we draw this correctly. So that's the concern there, and so I would keep a close eye on this. I'll keep people updated, of course, in our services in Moonstream, the M3 Active Trader. We have daily chat. We're very much on top of this, and here is another look at this that I just shared with our M3 Active Trader group here this morning. These are the 5 scenarios that I see as possible if we break down, if we have this big bearish engulfing candle stay with this red arrow. This was one scenario. Typically breakouts happen on the 3rd or 5th attempt, so we have not pushed up and reattempted that breakout. So that tells me more than likely we push down, and down here around 62K, between 60K and 62K is the bull market support band. Now we know if it gets below that, we're in for 8 to 12 weeks of further downside. So we would want to see at least hold around that 60K level. If we lose that, then we are looking at potentially coming down on this 56K level, and even down to 50K. I have a newer version of this that I just shared, and I'll just pull this up for you guys because it's still possible that, anything's possible in crypto, but I'm giving you the scenarios that I see. And if we do drop down below this, the 50-week EMA is right down here around 50,000. So we could see that play out. Here is the updated version of that chart I just showed you, showing a deeper drop down to the 50-week EMA and then bouncing higher. So what's the point? The point is to have some money available, have some powder dry to buy these inflection points and bounces, because there will be some excellent opportunities in here. And again, the next attempt at this upper trendline resistance more than likely, very likely, will be the breakout. And the only thing that's uncertain is how deep do we go before we start to turn. And once again, we'll be relying on our custom indicators that have given us those signals. Now, I will say on our ERI Pro, this buy block money flow tells me also, since in the past this has held price. See this buy block here, we came down, we didn't go below. Back here hasn't been retested. This held, so I would want to see us hold around that 62K level and then push higher. So we'll be watching for these signals. There's not a whole lot here I can share with you on this video. Let's see if we wanted to dive into on the 1 hour, 4 hour, just to look at the prices here. I think a bit stabilized, but look clearly heading lower on the 4 hour time frame, and likely to continue lower, as I've indicated here. If we did want to look at Ethereum and the other high flyers and tier 1 coins, we're going to see a similar pattern. and I've got to go, guys. I've got a phone call coming in, but lower highs probably going to pull back here. See a little more strength on Ethereum, and likely going to bounce out of that when the market bounces. But overall, looking bearish, all red on these radars. So stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated, and if you like the content, please hit the like and subscribe and share it with somebody. Comment on the video. Let me know what you think. Take care, everybody.